Welcome back, foodie crew. Today I'm sharing a comforting parsnip leek potato and onion soup with homemade wholemeal olive bread. So let's dive in. So let's make our flour scald and leave that aside. Now I'm adding here 200 gram of wholemeal flour and 50 gram of white flour. Also a teaspoon of salt before adding the yeast and mix that in. And that's 1 teaspoon of yeast, instant yeast, to a quarter cup of warm water. I'm adding a teaspoon of honey and 2 tablespoons of milk. And we're going to mix that in and add that gradually to our dough. And I can tell you a tablespoon of that scalded flour adds moisture. And we're just mixing that in. Knead our dough and add the rest. And the full recipe will be in the description box. I'm going to add some oil, around a tablespoon of olive oil, just to moisturize our dough. Our dough can't do it without being moisturized. And after 15 minutes of kneading, we're going to leave our dough to rest and to rise twice. Let's chop a quarter cup of olives that we're going to add to our dough later on. Now we're going to punch that out, get out all the air, and add our dry olives. We want to dry those olives so our dough stay nice and dry. And just fold that in gently and put that for another rise. Let's make our egg wash. 1 egg and a little water. Beat that in, and we're going to brush that onto our nicely risen loaf. Can tell you this loaf is going to be so moist and delicious. And we're going to bake for 35 minutes on a medium heat. Now let's prepare our vegetables for a soup, and we're using parsnip, leeks, and potatoes and onions. Let's saute our onion and garlic in some olive oil in a hot pan. Get our stock ready. I'm using 2 vegetable stock cubes. And after sauteing, we're going to add in our vegetables and saute that for a couple further minutes. Add a little honey to our stock. That's optional, just what I do. Add our leeks lastly. And just saute that for a little while. Then we're going to add a little garlic, ginger, and pimento. Just a pinch, not too much, and 1 teaspoon of white pepper and a teaspoon of all-purpose seasoning. And we're going to toss that in. Then we're going to add in our stock. And we're going to cook on a bay leaf. Cover that and let that just steam for a couple of minutes. Left to cool, and then after cooling, we're going to blend that out until nice and smooth. So silky, so smooth, so delicious. And I'm using the pulse mode, just a couple of pulses. And thank you for joining me here today, foodie crew. And if you're new here, you are most welcome to join our foodie crew. You are all welcome. All done. So we've blended that all out, and we've returned to pan, And we're gonna just add a little salt and cover and leave to simmer for a few minutes while I taper in this yogurt. So I'm gonna add some of the hot soup to some yogurt, some whole yogurt, and we're gonna just taper that in to stop it from curdling. And add it to a soup, and that's gonna make it give it a nice tang, creamy tanginess. And it'll be so delicious. And a pinch of salt. And we're all good. Our bread is smelling so good. Let's serve up. So let's pour soup in, and we're gonna garnish with a little bit more parsley. Smelling so delicious. And that bread, so soft. I can tell you that's called method of mixing a little flour into boiling water and leave it to rest. You add it to your dough. That's the trick to that soft, fluffy dough. Please do like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell for your next upload of more delicious recipes. Thank you so much for watching.